Today, a little love for the nano tanks of the world. Another local fish store find here is the pink Nephthia. So these two long polyp sarcophytons in here, the main mother colonies, are actually different in my opinion. Hey Reef Builders, my name is Remy and welcome back to another video. Look, I know I said that we would get a 625 update on the tank in the back, but it is going through some stuff. We've got a lot to cover there, and I want to make sure that we get some educational value out of all the things that have happened in that tank in the last 6 months. If you're an avid reef therapy listener, then you probably know the trials and tribulations that I've been going through. Sincerely, nothing crazy, just a lot of new tank stuff, so we'll go through that in a future video. You'll know when we post that video if you like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. Today, a little love for the nano tanks of the world. I want to show you my innovative marine 25-gallon Lagoon tank that I was going to take down, but then something magical kind of happened. So we're coming up on a milestone. This little guy's almost 5 years old, and I'll give you a bit of the history on this guy. This Lagoon was going to be nothing but quote, fire corals, things that were super colorful, zoas, torches, things like that. Slowly got some Cyphastria, got some micromusa, and I just turned this into a mixed reef. This lagoon has seen it all from hair algae to cyano, dinos, and even some pests that still remain like red planaria in this tank, Valonia, and Aptasia. I've also got quite the population of bristleworms, but again, this is stuff that's been pretty manageable over the last year or so. There was a time when the entire aquascape was covered in bubble algae, and I documented that whole experience. Just got out of hand, and I think this happens to a lot of people, but nobody ever wants to talk about it. It needs a water change and some maintenance, so why don't we go do that, and I'll take you on a little tour of this 25-gallon Lagoon tank. So right away, you're gonna notice these long polyp sarcophytons, and I've got a wide array of these leathers, including a bunch of babies from my mother colony that Jake did a story on years ago. This long polyp green doesn't look like it's a long polyp right now, but I'll show you some pictures of what this used to look like. I really think that there's some competition going on for space in this tank, and it's really kind of pulled itself in so as not to disturb the more dominant sarcophytons in this tank. And I always see questions regarding toadstools closed, if I should be worried or not that my toadstool is closed. And these corals shed to rid themselves of detritus and things that settle on top of the crown over time. So if your sarcophyton closes for a week or two, no big thing. I've actually had some leathers that close up for a month or two, and you think that they're gone, but then they come back one day. Another local fish store find here is the pink Nephthia, which has done quite a bit of growing since I got it. And this thing is so beautiful. Unfortunately, this tank really sits under blue light a lot, and I really could change that at this point just because, I mean, there's so many leathers in this tank that aren't super fluorescent, so I probably could change that up. But this is one of those cool corals that you don't really see too often in the local fish store, so when you do, if you've got room, I'd pick it up. I've had this jawbreaker mushroom forever. It's given me maybe 1 or 2 babies, and that's it. So if you've been following my story for a little bit or followed me over from the llama channel, you know that I was a heavy zoa fan. I was a big fan of zoa, still am, just don't have as many as I used to. And these proliferated a lot in this tank. These were bought as flaming Mohicans, I guess is what they called them. There's a little bit of green in the skirt, beautiful orange and red, but this is the one that really took off. There's also a lot of mushrooms in this tank, various colors and styles of corallomorph in here. And I recently picked up this Cinerina that is just fat and happy. This thing is so fat in this tank, and it's fun to feed, and the beautiful translucent tissue that it has is just so cool. And I've always wanted one of these and never really had a place to put it, but I feel like this is a great tank for it, and it's really doing well. Another exciting coral that you don't really see at the local fish store a lot anymore either is this Lobophilia ralliensis. Some hobbyists may also call this Australomusa. Multiple mouths on this thing, and it's so fun to feed it and watch it eat. I saw it in the swirling pattern on it and the oranges and the blues. It's just a super cool looking coral, and it's also doing pretty well in this tank. So these two long polyp sarcophytans in here, the main mother colonies, are actually different in my opinion. One of them I got at a local fish store years ago, and this is the one that Jake did the article on, that could be a weeping willow but didn't have those polyps that kind of flowed over the crown when the flow was turned off. And the other one I got from a local aquarist, and it has grown significantly since. And for those of you who are wondering, no, I do not have a plan on any of these fragments or the fragments in the future, but I have had the thought of maybe just fragging over time, maybe 1 or 2, just so I don't stress out the coral too much. I feel like personally, if you were to take the coral and make the donut shape around the crown, when I've done that in the past, the toadstool has never fully recovered in the way that I would want it to. So I think maybe just a little snip here, maybe just a little snip there, and we can grow some babies over time. So it just goes to show that if you're going through it right now and you've got pests in your tank that maybe you feel are out of control, an overabundance of Valonia or hair algae or any of the nuisance algae, there is hope. If you really want it to work out, it can. Just because it doesn't look the way that you intended it to look in the beginning doesn't mean that there isn't beauty still there. So should I keep this thing up? Should I keep this tank running? I moved it over into the corner of the basement because I knew I was gonna take it down, and now it's just doing so well. So what do you think? Do I dress up the stand? Do I leave it raw and uncut? Let me know in the comments section below. So we featured a lot of huge tanks here on the channel over the past year or so, and really wanted to feature something small. You know, this is a hobbyist style tank. A lot of people have a 10 to 50 gallon reef tank in their homes, or if you're thinking about getting one, know that it is totally attainable. This 25 gallon system has been up for almost 5 years now, and it's become one of my favorites. Cheers to a little nano reef tank appreciation. Hey, before I get out of here, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you know when we post new videos. Also, Reef Stock Denver is coming up March 2nd and 3rd. So if you're gonna be in the area, or you wanna come into the area, into the Denver area, make sure to get your tickets while you still can. It's gonna be an awesome event. If you're looking for coral or any kind of dry goods, it's all at Reef Stock. There's tons of speakers. I mean, you get to hear speakers like Salem and Sarah Stevens, and Rich and Ben are gonna be there. I'm gonna be speaking. I don't know about what yet, but I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna be speaking about some stuff. It's gonna be at the Crown Plaza in Denver. Again, you can get your tickets at reefstock.show/Denver. Some things you may notice behind me. This is the 60 gallon tide line that I've had for almost 2 years and finally got it wet last weekend. Good news, no leaks. So that's a good thing. And then also need to know what I should put in there. Need to know what is going in that tank. So if you have any ideas for me, that'd be fantastic, because I don't know which way to go. Make sure to get your Reef Stock tickets, and hopefully, you know, we can hang out in Denver, the Mile High City. We'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.